All right, third time's charm. Welcome, children, to a very fun episode of Photoshop with Naima. Today, we'll be talking about architecture sketch art, awkwardly, because I've already gone through this whole thing, but I'm going to go through it again, like a composed adult. Before you guys get started with the process, just starting from the top, make sure that you guys have gone through and downloaded sketch art actions from our website. It's going to be a zip file, and you have to extract all of the files. So to do that, you right click, go to extract all. If you're working on a Mac, you just double click on it and it automatically extracts it for you. Now in this folder, remember where you've saved it, because once we get back into Photoshop, you're going to want to remember where these files are, because we are going to load brushes and patterns. Bless you. So once you get into Photoshop, I like to start with the file open that I'm going to be using as an example, but you can do this without any particular file open. Either one works. And we're going to start by going to Edit, Presets, Preset Manager. This is a quick way to load patterns and brushes at the same time without having to go to two different menus. So in our Preset Manager, I'm going to delete these to pretend that they're not there. And I'm also going, don't look at the screen for a minute, people. I'm not restarting this. I'm going to delete all of this stuff too. I just want you to see what your home computer most likely looks like before you start this entire process. So from here you go to load, and you guys just need to find where you saved your sketch art action folder. And you'll see that now that we're loading brushes, the only file available to you are the brushes, so the ABR file. I hit load, and now it added a new category of brushes, and these are all of the brushes that the artist who created the sketch art action created. So without these brushes, you'll get errors and you won't be able to go through. The next thing that we need to load in this menu are our patterns. So again, most likely on your home computer, the last one that you'll see is kind of this yellow glittery one. But if you click on load, again, the sketch art pattern should be ready for you since we're just in that file. Go ahead and click on load, and we've got 6 more patterns available to us. And again, these were created by the artist who made this entire action set. So from here, we're done. And we need to do a couple more steps before we can get started. I want you guys to make sure you go to Window and turn on your Actions menu. So I had mine kind of pop up in the middle of my screen the first time, so I went ahead and embedded it into my other menus. And once you click on this, you should see that Photoshop has a few other kind of default actions. There's the sepia toning one, so you click on it and then hit play, and it puts on a sepia tone. And essentially what's happening, if I go to my history, it just does a few things quickly so that it changes it to sepia. So it's basically doing all of the work or all of the actions for you. I'm going to go back to the beginning and go back to my actions. And before we get started, we need to actually load the architecture sketch art action set. It's a pretty extensive one. So over here on the top right side of this menu, we've got kind of this rectangular square shape made out of stripes. Click on that and go down to load actions. And then again, you should be in that folder. If you're not, go ahead and find where your downloads are and click on load. And the architecture sketch action, again, there's quite a bit in here. In order for this to work, we have to go back to our layer manager, and we need to make sure our layer is unlocked. And I'm not going to rename it background. I'm just going to do a test to see if it gets mad at me. I don't know if it needs to be an unlocked layer or an unlocked background layer. So this will be a little test. In addition to that, I also need you to create a layer called brush, lowercase b. So I clicked new layer and I renamed it brush. Now on this brush layer, what you're going to do is go to your brush tool, and I'm going to go to a brush that's typically available to us. And I'm just going to color around the building. Now one thing that's nice about using a feathered brush is it gives the outline of our building kind of a soft look. If you use a harder brush, which I will do on the right side, I'm going to show you what it looks like between the right and the left side. So again, feathered brush here, kind of a cloud shape over here. So we've got our brush layer, we've got layer 0 that I'm kind of testing. And then once you've got these two things ready to go, it really should just be a matter of going to Actions. Don't click on the folder line, but click right below it. And then down here you have a play button. Dang it. Now it's mad at me. So I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to cancel out of that. Let me go back to my history. Oh, it actually didn't get too far. Okay. Now I'm going to rename it background. Maybe that's why it was mad. Again, this was a test. Maybe I failed that test. I was really curious though if it needed to be named background or if it just needed to be unlocked. Okay. So it looks like my test proved that it does need to be background with a capital B, because now it's running through it just fine. So really at this point you're just sitting back and waiting and letting it do its thing. There are menus popping up, but they're on the left side of my screen, like it says processing layer filter, but there shouldn't be any menus coming up that are asking you to like hit enter or stop the command, anything like that. It really should be autopilot. I'm going to let this whole thing run. Okay, that's it. I think it's done. So once it's done, if I go to my layers, I can kind of get an idea of everything that it has done for me. I'm going to go ahead and review some of the color options that we talked about, since several people were having some difficulties. And then again, if you want to review this at home, I want you guys to take a look at this. But down here in the color options menu, you can click on black and white and just change the entire image to black and white. And actually, before I get too far, can you see the difference between the right and left side of my screen? So when you use a hard edge brush, you can kind of see that hard edge come through, where over here with the feathered brush, it really feathers it out nicely, I think. And I can show you how you can go back and feather this side too after the fact. I'm going to turn off black and white, and I'm going to go to overall tone gradient. And what you want to do is just click this button right here, double click on it, and you can pick different gradients. So again, I was mentioning I love the rainbow. It's a little intense, but it's kind of fun to use. You can click through any of these. You can see that there's a hard yellow versus blue. And if you guys are ever feeling really adventurous, there are ways of creating new gradients using custom colors. But that's something I'm going to let you guys explore on your own. But you can do that as well. I'm going to turn that off for now and talk about the overall color tone. So that's the next one down. So by default, it does kind of this yellow color. But you can come here and pick any color and essentially wash your image with that particular color. Okay. Again, you don't have to use any of these. You can turn them off. Gradient color tones, I'm going to gloss over just because well, you can go through and kind of play with some of these. So this adds the original photo tone in the background. Kind of see that come through if you like that effect. I'll leave those off. Okay. And then splash options, just really quickly, I'm going to turn off the whole category and turn it back on. It's kind of that white brush splatter. Give it kind of that artsy look. So you can go through and choose different splatter modes. This one isn't my favorite, so I typically just turn it off. But again, find one that works for you if you like it, and use that one. Now white strokes, I'm going to zoom in for this one. When you turn white strokes on, you can see that it looks like you've kind of traced around your building in white. You can add a second level to it if you want. Gets a little intense, or you could use one or the other, or you can choose to leave them off. That's the thing that's nice about this. It does give you a lot of control over what you can do. I really like the perspective lines. Let me zoom in. That really gives it that sketch quality. So there's several sets of perspective lines that they've added. And again, you can keep them all on, or you can go through and toggle which ones you want to see. But I really like that touch. Overlay outlines, let me turn this one on. You can see that it just makes those sketch lines look a little bit darker. Really, with any of these, it's just a matter of, let me turn this on again. These are the hatch textures. It's like a sketching texture. It's really up to you to customize it. You know, which ones you like, which ones you don't like. There's white sketch lines, there's black sketch lines. You can really customize the look depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Now down here, under the green normal photo, that's where you can come through and kind of edit the mask of your building. So let me show you again. On my layers, you can see that this is my mask right now. And if I want to kind of take away parts of it, you know, I go over it with black. But if I want to, I just change the color to white, I can come through and add more parts of this building. So over here, I'm actually going to go through with black. I think I have to do this on a couple layers. Yeah, there's a layer underneath this. You look here. No, I think I have to go through a few of them, sorry. So here, what I was going to try to do is use my brush to feather this out. But there's other layers underneath that's preventing me from doing it. Yeah. So just go ahead and add some color in, and then I'll try to fix it on another layer. Okay, just filling in some color for now. We've got the shadows on. I'm going to go ahead and keep those on. Outline options, let me zoom in so you can really see what those are. Full outlines as well. These are a lot of those sketch details. And then again, you can control which ones you want to see or don't want to see. So the back hatch, that's going to be, I think, over here. Yeah, Anne? Uh-huh. Yeah, just black or white. That's because you're only, let me go, are you on the normal photo layer? Yep. So on the normal photo, make sure you're on the mask. So see how I've clicked on the mask right here? Good. And then if you want to add the color, make it white. See how that's adding? And then if you, so see how over here I added color? To take it away, I change it back to black. So I just hit X and see how it's taking it away? Yeah, X switches it to black. So now I'm just kind of going back and forth between the two. But I do want my building to have color. Yep. So you just took away color. So hit X again. Yep, and now right here on your building. Oh wait, sorry, maybe one more time. Hit X again, sorry, it looked like it was taking the color away. There we go, yep. Now it brought it back in, Okay, so yeah, really with most of these, just go through. You can turn stuff on or off, and kind of customize it to what you like. As you can see, bless you, there are tons of options to choose from. But I think, again, good advice would be when you start this, don't do a solid round brush, but try to find something that's really smooth and feathered. So you get kind of a smooth and feathered look out here. And I'm going to call it good.